Lisa here from Down to Earth Gardening, and I'm out in the garden again. I want to bring you two really hardy perennial flowers that are rebloomers. So that right there is fantastic. They're great if you're a beginner gardener or if you're an expert gardener because they are so hardy and beautiful. So I'm in my cottage garden here. I've been working on this garden for years. I inherited this when I moved into this house. It was a small garden and, trying to work with some really poor soil and some plants from friends and clients that didn't want the plants anymore. So I incorporated some gifts and what was here and some newbies. So you're going to see a mix of things behind me here. I call it a cottage garden or a pollinator garden, but either way, I really love it. There's a lot of action in here. I do have a bunny that lives in here right now. So anything that you're seeing flowering is rabbit resistant. And if I'm jumpy, it's probably going to be the bunny popping out of nowhere. But I want to talk in particular today about daylilies because they are such a hardy perennial in quite a few zones. I'm in zone 6A for those of you joining me in some other zones. So I want to talk about daylilies a little bit, planting them, caring for them, what they bring to the table, and then I want to give you two great varieties that are hardy rebloomers. So before I get to two really great varieties of daylilies, I want to talk a little bit about daylilies because they are so fantastic. I know a lot of people that are pretty serious collectors of daylilies because they come in so many colors, heights, flower shapes, and sizes. So they can be really fun and bring a lot, like I said, to the table. So as far as what their habits are, they have some strappy foliage, which is kind of a vase or arch-like, and then they will throw out some pretty large flowers, different sizes on these tall, leafless scapes. So as far as where you want to plant them, they do love their full sun. So they're going to flower better if they are in full sun, which is 6+ hours a day. They don't need a ton of water. I have used them in a lot of commercial projects and municipal gardens where there's no irrigation and they still do fantastic. So I would say they're pretty drought tolerant. So that makes them very versatile and really great for a lot of different applications. For some design tips on daylilies, you can of course incorporate them into a pollinator garden or a cottage garden. They look really lovely there. But you can also plant them along some walkways, really thick edges on walkways to kind of lead you through the path, which is really beautiful. I've done that quite often. They are versatile because they look great in a natural habitat, so framed by some stones, backed by some stone walls, but they can also have a little more formality to them in front of a white picket fence or in a more formal garden. So they're so flexible in how you can use them design-wise. So now let's get to it. The two varieties that I want to talk about, I have them both in this garden, and then I have some more photos and videos for you of some different applications for each variety. So the first daylily that I want to bring to you today is called Happy Returns. And I think that it is so well named because it is a very cheery little daylily. It is kind of a buttery yellow. And Happy Returns, it does return, it blooms throughout the summer because it is a rebloomer. So you'll start seeing blooms very late spring or early summer. It's early summer now, so you can see where some of the blooms have already come and gone. They're starting to look a little faded here. But you can also see what a great rebloomer it is because it has some buds on it in some different stages. So the flowers, when they're in full bloom, they get about 3.5 inches in diameter across, and it is lightly fragrant. So it's a wonderful addition to your garden. It's a beautiful pollinator, and it is rabbit resistant and pretty pest and disease free. So it's appropriate for zones 3 through 9, but always do your legwork, your research on your plants before you go out and invest in them. And I'm kind of happy about having some faded flowers on this right here because I can show you how easy care it is here. So I'm just going to take my pruners out because you can see some of the stalks are already browning, and this will happen when the flowering is done on the stalks. And all you want to do is just clean it up a little. So take these stalks, and if they're loose enough, they'll pull right out like that. Or you just want to try to cut them as low as you can. You can cut them right to the ground. And then you'll see when the temperatures heat up that the blades will start to brown a little bit. And you want to just go ahead and clean them up, yank those out. Because not only are you improving the appearance of the daylily, but you are also helping it retain its energy so it can use it for blooming. So this one right here is a winner. So I've got the next one behind me that I'm going to show you. Okay, so daylily number 2 is called Stella de Oro. And this has been a long time favorite as well because it is also another hardy rebloomer. It is kind of similar to the Happy Returns in that it is a smaller perennial and it is a rebloomer. However, the color is slightly different because it is a little more orangey. Some people say golden yellow. I call it orange sherbet because to me it's a little more orange. And it has more of a trumpet-shaped flower. And this one here is in full bloom, and you can also see a lot of the buds on it. So these rebloomers are really going to give you bang for your buck because you're going to get more than one show throughout the season. So Stella de Oro is good for zones 2 through 9. And like I said, it's a little shorter, so it comes in when it's mature at about 10 to 15 inches. And it still has the lovely arching daylily scapes for your garden. Now I do also want to mention again what easy care they are, because at the end of the gardening season in the fall, when we're all pretty tired out and ready to hibernate, all you have to do to put it to bed for the winter is just cut it right to the ground. And you'll know that it's time when the leaves turn brown and they die back. And then you can chop it down with your pruners or your shears, or sometimes the leaves will just go ahead and fall right off. So right to the ground. So how easy is that? So the daylilies do look beautiful in lots of applications. I love having this cottage garden with some different colors, but this Stella de Oro, because of its yellow, golden, orange hue, really pops with some purple flowers. And I know you all know that I love purple, so I'm a little biased. But I've seen this with some liatris, which is really pretty, or you could even use some lavender. I've got my lavender video out, and I think that that deep purple looks really pretty with it, and it blooms, the lavender blooms in the summer, so great complementary plants. So have fun with these two. They're hardy, so they're not too much fuss, and you should just be able to enjoy them, enjoy your investment, and enjoy your garden, which is what I want you to do. So thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. I appreciate all of you at home. And if you like this video, please tap like and go ahead and subscribe to our channel for some future gardening fun.